You know, this is home for all of us, and a lot of times multi-generational home, and this is where we want our kids to go to school. This is where we want to raise our families. This is where, you know, I've got 3 daughters. You know, I want them to settle in New York when they're done with college. But the way that it is right now, people have to follow their opportunities and also think about what's in their best interest for themselves, for their businesses, and for their families.
Shouldn't make them make that decision.
It shouldn't be made for them, I guess is the point. Right, and that's what we're seeing right now out of New York. First place that I went to was to CY Farms to learn about what their business is in the agricultural industry, the diverse business operation that they have, and spent a significant amount of time talking with them about the challenges that they have from New York State and how they're working very hard but also struggling based on the regulations and the cost of doing business. They have the authority to do that as a local government.
That's the issue.
Above and beyond what New York State says.
Well, Albany, they're trying to they're banning all different types of herbicides and pesticides now. I mean, they're talking about no Roundup on state lands or schools and all these other restrictions that are coming down the line, and it's putting us again at a disadvantage with other states. We can't. These are tools we have as growers, and they take the tools away. We can't do it.
The double whammy of taxes, some of the highest in the country, and then you have regulations. And you know, it's no surprise that we're seeing this exodus of businesses out of our state. And you know what? We're the ones who are here trying to piece it all together and glue it all together, if you will, to make it work. And this is why we need leadership and reform in Albany. Right now I'm here at Lamb Farms learning about the dairy industry as well, and the 13 generations that have been in the dairy industry here in New York State.
And say that with DEC, we don't always love what we end up with, but at least we feel like we had a voice in the process, and often there's some coming together and everyone has to give a little bit. There's been recently a little bit of a shift, so the Class C streams recently were pushed through by the legislature to be part of regulated streams by DEC without DEC's involvement. And in fact, DEC doesn't have the staffing to carry out.
To enforce
Correct.
Class C streams?
Yeah,
okay.
and I think that would be one main point. It's just that we need to let DEC be the experts in their field.
Sure.
But what we have a lot of now is folks from New York City here about, you know, we don't like glyphosate. So we're going to ask them to ban that, and it comes through almost in more of a bill form instead of from the organizations or the groups that are really there to regulate and look at the science on that.
Awareness,
Yeah.
and understanding what your challenges are here in Genesee County, and you know we're hearing that time and time again today on our tours of various farms. Is you say that the DEC tries, but sometimes Albany's out of touch with what they can do and in practice what they can carry out. And same with the Department of Labor. And no one is going to have a bigger challenge than you all right now with the fact that you can't fix your prices. You know, and so you have a labor cost that's heavily expanding, and you can't control that because you're being told what you can, what you can and you can't do by way of your pricing and cost of labor. These are foundational industries and foundational businesses that right now New York State is not understanding or prioritizing their concerns. There's labor challenges, there's cost of doing business challenges such as taxes and regulations, and this is still the largest industry in New York State, agriculture, and diverse. If it's turf farms, if it's dairy farms, apple farms, greenhouse operations, poultry operations where they're laying eggs, all across New York State, we need to prioritize and shift our focus to having less taxes, less regulations, and a more friendly labor department so that our farms can survive.
I'm at retirement age, and my friends are retiring, and one by one you see them changing their residence. They're changing their official residence to Florida or Arizona or someplace to escape the taxes, and it's just hard to watch.